It's the rise and the fall of Miss New Zealand.
The swimsuit competition, with every red-blooded male sitting in his armchair, bear in hand, waiting to judge the girls for himself.
The swimsuit section, nobody really enjoys the swimwear section. Here you are in your swimsuit, trying to suck everything in, stand there, and you're in high heels, you've got to walk along, be elegant and look the way you should. But it's not an easy ask, that's for sure.
You just have to get out there and pretend that, you just do it.
Very nerve-wracking, because we were given these shoes with heels this high. And of course, you've got to walk down 20 stairs. It's not an easy thing to do. And, again, yes, live TV.
We had to be natural. And you weren't allowed to have any enhancements at all. Well, that's all changed today. Everybody's got enhancements of some description. But that was quite an important part.
Yeah, it was forbidden, but I think there may have been a few from different countries, so who knows?
I was used to being up on stage in swimwear, and I'm a bit of a show-off anyway, so that doesn't really bother me.
They did inspect your swimwear to make sure that everything was you.
To do a bikini section, you can do anything. And if you can do a bikini section in Miss Universe with 89 other beautiful girls, then there's not really a lot that's going to faze you, I don't think.
And you look back and you think, I don't think that even looks good now when you look at it. So.
It was sometimes, at times, cringeworthy.
Well, I'm proud of my appearance. I feel that I should be proud. Every woman should be proud of their appearance. I like to think that I've got an alter ego. You know how like Beyonce's got her Sasha Fierce? There's me, Jess, very elegant and poised. But when I hit the stage, I feel like I kind of transform and I become my alter ego.
I loved doing the swimwear. That was my favourite bit, because it was just so awesome to have you. You were just like, with your...
I know, you did so well.
Oh, look, Tracy's taught Lol the sidestep, and would you believe I actually remember when she did that?
A lot of people would say, oh, well, it's, just like a cattle contest, but I think it should be part of it. I don't think it's hurtful at all.
So Holly was being picked on for being 5'6", but the year before, Olivia, who was Miss USA, won Miss Universe, and she was 5'6".
Holly Cassidy, gorgeous. What a beauty.
I was never going to be tall, so I did what I could with my body, and I'm fairly muscly toned. I've got that part Māori gene that gives me that look. So I stuck with that, and I got really lean and trim. I nearly had a six-pack.
I don't know anybody who trains harder than her for that body.
To the eye of people watching Miss Universe, they think of really tall, skinny, not really much muscle tone. And so, yeah, I got crucified for that actually online. I got a lot of bullying from it, but it didn't faze me.
My year, Miss China, who was a hot favourite, was too tall because she was so tall and gorgeous, and there were people online calling her a freak.
That is disgusting behaviour, bullying on an international platform.
But yeah, there's a lot of prep that went into that, having that body. I wish I had it back now.
So shorter girls like Holly proved you didn't need to be 6 foot to win that crown.
So the girls would appear on the screen in their swimwear, and then all of a sudden a digital mark out of 10 would come up on the screen for the viewers at home. It's hard to believe that happened in today's world.
It's weird, isn't it, to be scored like that as well, like, 7 out of 10 or whatever they say to you. It's just weird.
I think to anyone who says that Miss New Zealand is sexist, I think that they have a lot of learning to do.
Well, I didn't really feel it was sexist at all. It was my choice, and I think if I thought that way, I probably wouldn't have gone in it.
If you have entered into the pageant with the intention to impress men, and your look and your value is based on whether men think you're attractive, then you'll find the whole experience sexist.
I believe if you want to do that, you go for it. If you want to put yourself into the beauty pageant world and have a crack at it, good on you.
No, I've got daughters. I'm not sure I want them to be judged on the way they look. I want them to be judged on the way they are as a person.
I think it has been sexist in the past, most definitely, and I think we've learnt from that. I think moving forward, as we have with everything in life, it's now 2021. It's very different to the 80s.
We were out the back when the protesters came, so we heard the commotion, but we didn't see any of it.
Thank you, Peter, and good evening, everybody. Well, despite the slight interruption, I'll carry on. The rewards and prestige of being a Miss New Zealand are highly sought after.
My mum thought there was a bomb going off. She was like, we had no idea what was happening. She just said there was all this noise, commotion, security coming on. She said something was thrown on the stage. And
That's just awful. I mean, totally disrespectful of a moment. This is Miss New Zealand.
To be totally broken down by protesters and the change of society, where they said, well, we don't want people to be rated 1 to 10 by judges.
We arrived in the bus to protesters at the Royal Albert Hall with flower bombs. So it was a bit tricky about where we were going to enter and just to be one step ahead of them. So we entered through this side door, but just at the last minute they got cotton onto it, and there they were with the bombs.
We had protesters outside the theatre. We didn't know about it at the time. And some protesters had actually got into the theatre. They were posing as press.
I just think with anything these days, you're always going to have people protesting.
Shock horror, one of them got up to the stage and threw her pencil onto the stage.
Men often have a completely different viewpoint when it comes to who's the most beautiful woman.
I was dishing out scores of 3 out of 10, and the organisers came to me and told me off.
It's in the eye of the beholder.
The thing about judging Miss New Zealand is I had a no arseholes policy.
The interview with the judges, that was really important.
I guess they want someone who will work hard, do the promos for them.
I think they were looking for a representative that could hold themselves on a world stage, that would have the confidence to be able to handle an international competition.
I think personality definitely does count. There has to be more than beauty.
I would pick a girl with a great personality over looks any day.
I think there were about 12 judges. I knew that this was it. And I remember coming out and thinking, that felt really good.
Well, I was very nervous about that. The thing that worried me the most was having to speak, because they asked questions. We were in England for 2 weeks and they're watching you the whole time to see how you are coping with things and what sort of person you are, whether you get angry, whether you're frightened.
So what happens in Miss World and Miss Universe is they judge you based on the behind the scenes noise that goes on, a narrative of the actual person. So when we had Top Model, we would actually know who was playing up. So it wasn't just the performance. You could see who was invested, who was actually meant to win.
One of the questions they actually ask you during the interview is, who do you think your biggest competition is? Because they want to get from the other contestants who they believe deserves to win.
There were some massive blunders. There were girls like Jeanette Williams, Kirstine Price, Jessica Palmer. None of them won the crown.
Not just a beauty contest. I feel quite sad when I hear that said, because there's a lot more to it, particularly when you have to start touring.
Eileen Ford was one of the judges. She did give me some advice on going into modelling. She also gave me a very good tip, because she was the very first judge I saw, which was pretty scary. She said to always look people in the eye. So I took that with me all the way through. What we look for in a winner is someone who works hard, someone who can speak really well, and someone who holds themselves really well.
The convener of the judging panel is Paula Ryan. She's the editor and publisher of Fashion New Zealand.
Because we met the girls for 2 or 3 days, and we really knew by the final televised event, we really knew who it was going to be, unless that girl let us down on the night.
My mum would come out, and I remember thinking she was the most beautiful woman in the world as a little girl sitting in her pyjamas at home watching.